Welcome back to a brand new No BS crypto news video where I bring you the news in the most no BS way possible. Now, today's a very interesting one, right? Because we've got news to cover, but what I also want to show you all is an interesting prediction from one of the space's leading crypto exchanges and their prediction for the crypto market cap in 2024, which means we can use that information to figure out how far and how many multiples our favorite projects will go. So that will be towards the end of today's video. It's gonna be really fun news and also predictions. I mean, what more do you want in crypto? So with that being said, make sure you hit the subscribe button for updates every single day. As we always say in crypto, if you are a day behind, that can be the difference between making and losing money. And make sure you hit the bell notification as well, because you don't want to miss it when it comes out. So of course, let's take an overview of the market. Now we can see two projects in particular have taken the lead in the top 100 today, 39% and 34% respectively for Bitcoin inscription projects, Audi and Sats, which of course is interesting. Now this list only looks at the top 100 coins, so I'm not too sure what the smaller Bitcoin inscription projects are doing as well, but this progressing might be an indication this might be one of the narratives popping off here very soon. We can see the Sandbox, Sui, Gala, these are all up respectively quite high as well. 20% is good. This very much so reminds me of what it is like in a true bull run. When the bull run's kicking off, we find these projects just consistently pumping up. And one of these such examples, Near Protocol. I swear this was at $3.50 like a day ago. It's next to insane. Every time I check this, I'm just blown away. Now, top losers today, these are sort of like the major projects that have been really consistently pumping over the last couple of months. Thorchain, Multiverse, Immutable X, Optimism as well. This one's moved quite a lot. They're just taking a breather. It is very normal for them to do that. That's why, of course, we always buy in the red, never the green. Now we can see Bitcoin here at $43,500, which is interesting because we had the prediction in yesterday's news video from that gentleman saying from BN Crypto, he predicts that if Bitcoin can consistently close underneath the $43,200 level of support, we might see a retracement to $37,000. And that's always great in theory. Whether it does or doesn't happen is entirely, I believe, up to fundamentals. Our first up in today's news comes from an update with Base Network, of course, the Ethereum scaling solution built by Coinbase. They have $735 million in TVL currently locked up in the network, with 7 million transactions completed in the last 30 days, with their total user base exceeding currently 3 million, which is pretty impressive. They've also had about 70,000 daily active users consistently over the last few weeks here. So, you know, we can't expect these projects to instantly be at like 3 million daily transactions and 100 million users. You know, this takes a long time to update, so it of course is good for those of you who are interested in using Base, especially if you use it consistently, because they might have an airdrop coming up in the next 12 to 24 months. But how does it stack up to the top competitors, right? How does it stack up to Optimism, Arbitrum, and Polygon? Well, it's by far the lowest so far. It's saying on DeFi Llama $450 million in TVL. I think it's slightly outdated here. Nevertheless, Arbitrum most definitely is just dominating the pack, but it's going to be a very close second, third, and fourth here with the bottom three. So always good to see. I think a lot of TVL will be moving away from Ethereum into these Layer 2 solutions over the next 12 months. Now, speaking of Layer 2 solutions on Ethereum, ZK Sync went down for 5 hours on Christmas Day, but has since been put back online, okay? ZK Sync's a very new Ethereum Layer 2 solution, kind of built off the whole zero-knowledge proof technology, which I believe will be a very big narrative moving into 2025. And speaking of sort of these crashes, right, we've seen 3 in the last 12 months, mainly here from Solana. These guys suffered a 4-hour outage from a DDoS attack earlier in the year. A DDoS attack typically in crypto comes from very cheap fees. When your fees are that cheap that someone can spend like a couple $1,000s and overload the network, that's not a good thing, okay? So that's why fees can't be too cheap. We also saw Polygon going down for more than 11 hours earlier in the year in March, and also earlier in December, we did see Arbitrum go down for over an hour as well. Now, the next bit of news is very important. That comes from the SEC. The SEC have given the Bitcoin spot issuers a clear deadline to have everything up to date, corresponding with their rules and regulations, which is December 29th, which is about 3 days away from the recording of today's video. So that means all these issuers are going to have everything compliant in the next 3 days in order for them to be approved in early January. We're all speculating January the 10th will be the time that we will have confirmation of an approval, right? But here's the thing. A lot of these don't have regular updates and meetings with the SEC, so they won't all be approved by January the 10th. I think at least 3 to 4 of them will be, because over the course of the last few weeks, We've seen the likes of Grayscale, BlackRock, Bitwise, Fidelity. They've had recent meetings and consistent meetings with the SEC, of course, going over the grilling rules and regulations. So I think at least we'll have 3 to 4 of them approved. The rest will probably be approved in March. But again, this could flip either way. We don't really know what's going to actually happen on January the 10th. There could be a situation like we've seen here with Chainlink. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Happens a lot in crypto, okay? Like we've seen here with Chainlink, they had their big upgrade recently. But of course, there was a massive amount of, buy potential over here. Yes, it definitely did rebound from its bottom, but there was most definitely at least about a week or two worth of buy pressure because, again, buy the rumor. And then, of course, it came out, pumped up a little bit, and then the news, it dumped. Now, we could have a very similar situation happen with Bitcoin. When BlackRock filed their ETF back in June, of course, the market pumped. That was very sudden news. No one had previous news that it would happen. And the market kind of corrected or consolidated, and then we crashed. And we had this consolidation period over here before we had a lot of news come out at this particular time, which I believe was the catalyst for this massive crypto bull run spark. Multiple spot ETFs could be approved in December. One of those such proponents of that news being out was CoinDesk. So CoinDesk had said, hey, we could see the ETFs being approved as early as December. Of course, that never actually happened. We now know that's going to be roughly January. But he also did say that we could see as much as $50 to $100 billion of inflows over the next 5 years. So, wow, of course, that's going to cause a bit of buy pressure, of course, buy the rumor. And we don't really know what's going to happen next, okay? Because I think a lot of people are anticipating quite a lot of money to flow into Bitcoin, causing that next leg up. And again, what we know historically speaking is that doesn't typically happen. There's no instant demand that comes from a massive update. That typically happens over time. The update is just the news or that thing setting into practice. So what we could actually have here is a situation like Van Eck and again, CoinDesk predicting where we don't have a lot of money flow instantly into the market as people predict. Van Eck says $2.4 billion in the first quarter and $40 billion over the next 2 years, which again does kind of work out to be the same as $50 to $100 billion over the next 5 years from CoinDesk. Now, also, in addition to that news, I think it's pretty important you stay on the fence with it, right? You shouldn't be 100% in crypto. You should be partly out. Likewise, you shouldn't be 100% out. You should also be partly in to take advantage of both situations. But we have seen a bit of a retracement historically here happening with Bitcoin after the halving. The green and the blue line represented here are the last cycle and the previous cycle, so 2013 and 2017. When the halving happens, we have a little correction here because what happens is effectively like you going to work every day doing the same tasks, but then I turn to you one day and say, hey, I'm only going to give you half of your daily pay. You're going to go, what the damn hell? I'm going to leave. All right, that's what Bitcoin miners effectively do. It's still just as hard for them to mine the Bitcoin, but of course the reward they get is halved, right? It does cause positive pressure immediately after. As we can see here, we do have the bull run commence after that, but we do have a consolidation period happen immediately after. That may or may not happen. Bitcoin miners have been very profitable this year. A lot of them, I think most of them are up on their balance sheets, if not all. So we may not have this happen, but I just wanted to point it out because it does kind of coincide with this possible ETF news. Now, the big news of the day, Bitfinex, a crypto exchange, had their market analysts predict $3.2 trillion, maybe the market cap we find in late next year, which is pretty big. Now, they actually go ahead and say that $3.2 trillion may happen, but there's going to be pullbacks. They had in their official report. It's very normal, right? There's not going to be a straight line $3.2 trillion from here. I think a lot of people are quite silly in the space. They will take this information and just think we're going to go straight up to the moon. These things have pullbacks. As I mentioned, we may have one coming up very soon. They do say with the current market cap of $1.6 trillion, an uphill run hinge on several factors, including inflows from Bitcoin ETFs are a big point here. Of course, inflation is a big one as well. So take it with a grain of salt. But again, we can use this information to then go ahead in the next step here and have a look at what our projects might actually be if this did come true. Very fun sort of stuff. Now, I'm going to kind of say another thing here from Van Eck. These guys also predicted crypto to be basically at all-time highs in late next year. They do say Bitcoin's price will reach an all-time high in November 9th, exactly 2024, and Bitcoin may reach $100,000 in December, which of course does coincide and line up with these guys' predictions. So we have the big guys, the institutions here agreeing with this prediction. We'll see how it goes. We've seen a 61% gain in the last 3 months already with crypto. So moving up to well, I've got 3.5, but 3.2 trillion will basically be a 2x from where we are today. So let's have a look at some of these predictions. I'm going to go through 9, Near Protocol, HBAR, ICP, right through to Solana, see what the price could end us up at. Again, we have to kind of predict here. No one really knows for sure, so take this information with a grain of salt, but I'm going to show you guys today how I actually came up with these numbers, because I get it all the time. Hey, Kyron, how did you come up with your prediction? And a lot of YouTubers don't do this because they just kind of guess. I'm going to put it frank, they just guess. No one really knows. So in this case, the way we're going to find it is, again, using the global market cap that they predict. Now, I get it. They put 3.2 trillion. I'm going to use 3.5 trillion. I get it, slightly off, but let's just keep it simple. I think 3.5 trillion is a nice round number. So in this case, we'd have to find the market cap of the project, which will then give us the price. And the way we find the market cap in this case is finding the market dominance. If we know the market dominance, of course, being the market cap of that project versus the global market cap. So for those who don't know what that still is, if the global market cap was at $100,000, right, and my project was valued at $1,000, my market dominance would be 1%. Again, 1% of $100,000 global market cap is $1,000. That's how we find it. And so we can use information that we pretty much already have, because the last 3 months, a lot of these projects have already gained quite substantially. Near Protocols jumped 2.6x in market dominance, Solana, right? And even Avalanche, 4x. So we take this information on board. I'll leave the link to this particular sheet in the Discord so you guys can have a look at my working out, so you know I'm not BSing you. And we can then figure out what the market dominance will be in late next year, considering the growth of the last 3 months. So what we're doing here is taking, hey, Near Protocol went from a 0.01% market dominance to 0.26 market dominance in 3 months. So we'll take this and we'll extrapolate it and say, well, what happens if it does a 2.6x, not in the next 3 months, but in the next 12 months? So I think it's much more realistic. And that's what we've done here. So in this case, we come up with a level for all of these projects. You can see HBAR only gained 40%, so we're going to only move up 40% here. Near Protocol moved up 2.4x, so we gained 2.4x, so on and so forth. But the interesting thing is, I haven't taken my subjectiveness into consideration. I haven't gone, hey, there's going to be a massive upgrade for Hedera, therefore Hedera actually will 3x in 2024. No, I haven't done that. I'm just using data. I'm just using maths. Nothing more, not putting my input in here. So most definitely, I think these coins will move up or down from this prediction. And I'll tell you those in a second here. We have to also figure out supply, because if we can figure out the market cap, well, the price is stemmed from the market cap divided by the supply. So I've also worked out the supplies here as well. I would really appreciate a like on this video. This alone took me so long to figure out for some of these projects, and I've got them all. All right. So again, I'm just going to give you guys the numbers here. For those who want to know the math, you can jump into this sheet and work it out yourself. So keep in mind, this is the max expected price at 3.5 trillion. And 3.5 trillion, I think, is a very high prediction here for the global market cap, on the very high side. And of course, this is going to say that these projects are still going to outperform the market over the next 12 months. So again, this is our max price prediction. Near Protocol, 2160, HBAR, 25 cents. Now, these are all green ticks, by the way, because I think this is realistic. I really do think it is. ICP, $51. Over here for IMX, $13. Chainlink, $60. And Mina at $5. Again, all realistic. It can go higher or lower. It does depend. But the ones I've marked crosses here are AVAX, Render, and Solana. Why have I given them an X? Well, just because they had such insane growth that I don't think they're going to have that same amount of growth over the next 12 months from the current market dominance, because again, we are still right now extremely high. All these projects are up 4x, 2x, 3x right now from where they were 3 months ago, right? So we're taking this inflated high and we're inflating it even more. So put it simply, I don't think we're going to have a 12.5% market dominance from Solana, considering the fact that right now Ethereum is about 12.5%. So that's about a $400 billion market cap from what I remember. Yeah, that ain't going to happen, okay? So I don't think we'll see $900 for Solana. I think a much more realistic high max prediction is $300. I don't think we'll see $185 over here for Render. I think we'll probably be lucky to see $50. And I definitely don't think we'll see $322 for Avalanche. I think maybe $110 seems a much more realistic level. So with that said, that is the predictions that interestingly came out. So take a screenshot of that if you want to right now, or just go ahead and look at the sheet as well. With that being said, everyone, that will conclude today's news video. Hopefully you have enjoyed, but if you've made it this far, you'd be crazy not to hit the like right now and subscribe for more daily crypto content. With that being said, take care. I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye.